Hi students, my name is Rupa. I am working as Assistant Professor in Chevron Engineering College in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Today I am dealing the subject renewable energy sources. In that topic is wind energy conversions. Until now we discussed about small processors and small producers to produce very little amount of electricity. Now coming to the large producers. So these large and medium sized wind generators, these are designed to give stable and constant electrical output. So whatever may be the wind variations, the wind, we know that wind will be varying in speed. So throughout the wind will not be constant. At one time it will be higher and at other times it will be lower. So at this average we are taking and we are making the wind as constant, and we are utilizing this constant wind to generate whatever you want, electricity or whichever application we are using that. So over a wide range of wind speeds, the constant wind is fed to directly into the grid. Here in large producers it is directly fed into the grid. These acts as a fuel savers because we are not using any fuel or any purchasing fuel for this. Just wind is a free fuel and we are using this. So we can say that this is saving the fuel. This also reduces the total fuel burn. So as if you use as coal or some petroleum, some liquid petroleum or white petroleum like that, if you use that, burning of fuel will be there, and this creates a non-eco-friendly type of natures, and this is free here. And here two types of generators can be used. First one is induction generator and second one is synchronous generator. Okay, so in induction generator, actually if you choose to go for a induction generator, it is more convenient than the synchronous generator. Okay, so in the choice of generators, it depends upon the the choice is depend upon the size of the local distribution grid. If it is more small size, it is chosen for one generation, and if it is large, it is used for other type of generators. And generating capacity also, how much capacity of electricity we are generating also, this decides the generator selecting. So two types of generators will be there, induction and synchronous generators. In induction generators are more used because synchronous generators requires mainly control. But if you can control the synchronous generators, we can use this appropriately. Exactly, we can use. And synchronous generators are more complex than these induction generators. These are the details about large producers. Next one. This is the mechanism, what is going on in the windmills, lift and drag. This is the basic concept of wind energy. Okay, so the basic wind energy conversion will be depending on this lift and drags. Actually, the extraction of wind power is done. That means from the wind, we are extracting some energy. So this energy from the wind will be depending upon certain forces. and these forces applies them to rotate. That is translating. Rotating means nothing but mechanical energy is going on from the wind. Okay, so this rotating, it seems that it is translating. Rotating means translating of wind energy to the mechanical energy. Okay, so this rotation is nothing but translating a mechanism. So they are primarily two types of mechanisms. Okay, so these two type of mechanisms, these produce the force from the wind. What are the two types of mechanisms? First one is lift and second one is drag. Okay, so these two type of mechanisms, they produce forces from the wind. By definition, lift is a force acting perpendicular to the airflow. And coming to the drag, it is the force acting in the direction of the flow. Okay, so one is at 90 degrees and other one is at parallel. Okay, so lift, coming to the lift, it is perpendicular to the airflow. And drag is, it is direction, in the direction of the flow only. So these lift forces are produced. How they are produced means, if you change the velocity of the air stream, that means if you change the velocity of the air or wind flowing over each side of the lifting surface, that means if you take a turbine, if you take the either sides of the turbine, it has some lifting surfaces. The blades had some lifting surfaces. So these lifting surfaces are, in this lifting surfaces, lifting forces are produced by change in velocity. Okay, so the change in velocity produces the lifting mechanism. So if it is produced, after producing the lifting mechanism, the speeding up of the airflow causes the pressure to drop. Okay, so first what is happening? Speed up of the airflow, it causes the pressure to drop, while slowing the airflow, nothing but slowing the air stream down, it leads to increase in pressure. So there will be some differences in the pressures. Okay, so these differences in the pressures, these create a force. This force created, it starts acting on a high pressure side and moves towards the low pressure side. Okay, so there occurs a difference of pressures. This difference of pressures produce a force. Okay, so these pressures produce a force that acts on high pressure side and moves towards the low pressure side. It is a common phenomenon. Okay, so always the temperature or pressure or whatever it is, it will be moving from high pressure to low pressures. You know that. Okay, so here also the pressure, high pressure, from high pressure it will be moving to the low pressure side. Okay, so this is called as airfoil. Okay, the movement of the pressures going on is airfoil. It is called as airfoil. This good airfoil, if it is done at good mechanism, a good airfoil has high lift and drag ratios. Okay, so at sometimes, in some cases, it can generate lift forces perpendicular to the air stream. That means lift is, you know that lift is acting perpendicular to the air stream. So if you take a good airfoil, in some cases, it can generate lift forces perpendicular to the air stream direction, which are 30 times as great as the drag force, which is acting parallel in the direction of the flow. Okay, so for a good airfoil, the lift is 30 times greater than the drag force. Okay. So this lift increases as the angle formed at the junction of the airfoil and the stream, and it is less, it becomes less, and after that it increases as the angle formed at the junction of the airfoil and airstream. Airstream means that is called as angle of attack. So at this junction, lift increases means the angle formed at the junction of the airfoil and the airstream will be decreasing. Right? So if lift increases, angle between the, nothing but that is called as angle of attack. So if lift increases, angle of attack decreases. So this is less accurate. This angle of attack is less accurate at the point where the angle of flow, airflow on the low pressure side become more. Okay. So when this happens, if this phenomenon happens, the airflow breaks away from the low pressure side. Okay, it breaks away from the low pressure side. So a lot of turbulence, turbulence means some shaking mechanism will be there. So the lift decreases when this shaking mechanism is going on. That is when a lot of turbulence is ensured there, the lift decreases and drag increases. Okay, lift will be decreasing and drag will be increasing. So this will be going on phenomenon. So this phenomenon is called as stalling. Okay, so if you want to eliminate this stalling, means if this shaking mechanism is called as stalling, if you want to eliminate this stalling mechanism, if stalling is eliminated, we call it as efficient operation. So for this elimination of stalling, wind turbine blade has to be functioning with as much as lift and as little drag possible, because drag dissipates energy. So we have to increase the lift and we have to decrease the drag as much as possible. Actually, this lift process is a easy process than the drag. When we design this wind blade, the design of each wind turbine, it specifies the angle at which the airfoil should be set. So if you set that airfoil, whatever they gave, that means if you purchase a wind turbine, that wind turbine is up to a standards of some air, they are giving some constant airfoils. The airfoil should be from between to between, they will give ranges. So if you can maintain this wind turbines at that airfoil ranges, we can achieve maximum lift to drag ratios. So in addition to this mechanism, airfoil mechanism also, we are having other two types of mechanisms. First one is called as Magnus effect. Magnus effect. So first one is called as Magnus, and second one is called as Thwaites slot. Okay, so if you see first one, Magnus effect, it is caused by spinning a cylinder in a airstream. Okay, so if you spin a cylinder in the airstream, we can get this effect, but this is at high speed. But this is done at high speed of rotations. you spin this cylinder in the air stream, the spinning slows down the airspeed on the side where the cylinder is moving into the wind, and it increases it on the other side. So similarly, we are getting a airfoil there. We are forming a airfoil there. But this principle, it has been put to practical use only in 1 or 2 cases only, but it is not generally employed. Just it is used practically for 1 or 2 cases. And coming to the second one, Thwaites slots. The second way is to blow air through narrow slots in the cylinder. Okay, so if you blow the air through narrow slots in the cylinder, it emerges tangentially. Okay, the air will be emerging tangentially. This is called as Thwaites slot. So if you blow the air through a narrow slots of the cylinder, this creates a rotation of the airflow. Rotation means nothing but circulation of the airflow. Again, this circulation of the airflow, it generates lifts. Because as we have to ensure the lift and drag ratio of airfoils to a desired levels, this will be working much better. Okay, so this will be, the airfoil is generally much better in this than those of rotating a slotted cylinders. And in future, these are they are developing through this only, through these mechanisms, second mechanism only, Thwaites slots only. So the later techniques, what they have been improved, probably have little practical potential only. See, this is the, we can see in the figure, we can see this windmill wheel, wind blade. This is the wind blade. First wind blade, second one. This is the velocity VB and V. So the resultant velocity will be occurring VR. The blades are twisted in a angle. See, if you observe these blades, these are not parallel straight wind blades. These are twisted. These need to be twisted. These should be twisted because R radius varies in, sorry, R means the distance of airfoil element from its axis of rotation. That means this is the distance of airfoil element from the axis of rotation here. This R will be proportional to the radius. It is proportional to the radius. See, if you observe these terms, V, capital V, it is the, here, this capital V is the free wind velocity. Right? This is free wind velocity and this is the velocity of the airfoil. This is the velocity of the VB. It is the velocity of the airfoil element. And this is the resultant of V and VB. Resultant wind of the airfoil element. Okay. Here lift force, which is perpendicular to VR. So lift force is perpendicular to VR. If VR is like that, lift force will be like this. Okay. So this lift force is perpendicular. It is denoted by FL, F suffix L. And the drag force is indicated by FD, F suffix D. And what is the twist angle is theta. Theta is the twist angle because the blades will be, wind blades will be twisted. So what is that angle is theta. And alpha is angle of incidence. and omega is angular speed of rotor. Here, omega is angular speed of rotors. And small r here, VR means small r here, resultant vector. So here r means here r. Here they did not indicate that. It is the distance of airfoil. It is the distance of airfoil from the axis of rotations. So if you see the cross section area, what do you have observed in previous slide? This cross section area, AA. It is the shape of horizontal axis wind turbine rotor blade. The blade will be like this, twisted here. So it is twisted to an angle theta. Okay, this is the drag force. FL, it is the lift force. Okay, this is the vertical velocity of airfoil element. This is the velocity of airfoil element. Here, you see, it is the free wind velocity, and this is the velocity of airfoil. It is the resultant. Here, alpha is the angle of incidence. Theta is the angle of twist. At what angle it should be twisted. Next, main classifications of wind energy systems. Wind energy conversion systems, WECS. So there are so many classifications. Okay, so according to different sizes and according to the rotational speeds, according to the utilization we are using, and according to the output power we are getting, according to the size and design mechanisms, there are different types of WECS, wind energy conversion systems. So we will go through along all them. First classification is done. This is the main classification. So two broad classifications are done mainly. First one is what we have discussed before, horizontal axis machines. Here in horizontal axis machines, the axis of the rotation is horizontal. Okay, so that's why the name exists, horizontal axis machines. And the aeroturbine plane is vertical facing the wind here. Okay, in horizontal machines, aeroturbine plane is vertical facing the wind, and the axis of rotation is horizontal. And second broad classification is vertical axis machine. Okay, so in this, the axis of rotation is vertical. And the sail or blades, blade also can be called as sail, S-A-I-L, or propeller. Okay, so this sail or blade, it is also vertical. So these we can see on ancient Persian windmills. If you see the ancient before Persian windmills, we can observe this design. These are so nearly to these vertical axis machines. Okay, so if you compare this Persian windmill to modern windmills, these we can found in vertical axis machines can be found as Darrier's rotor machines. Okay, there is one type of machine called Darrier's rotor machine. We can see this vertical axis machines. We can see a close simple similarity in this Darrier's rotor machines. And second type, according to the size, if you classify this WECS systems according to the size, these are three types what we have discussed before. First one is small scale. Second one is large scale, and third one is, sorry, medium scale, and third one is large scale. Again, this large scale is divided into again two types. We will see after discussing one by one. First one is small scale. So if you take up to 2 kilowatts, okay, so these up to 2 kilowatts, we can say this, these are small scale. These are, what does the application means? These can be used on farms and remote applications. We can use them. And the places which require very low power can also be a choice for the small scales. Next, coming to the medium size machines, what is the range is 2 to 100 kilowatts range. So from 2 kilowatts up to 2 kilowatts, we are calling them as small scale. So from 2 kilowatts to 100 kilowatts range, we are saying, we are giving into the category as medium size machines. Okay, so these wind turbines are used to supply less than 100 kilowatts rated capacity for different residencies, okay, to several residencies or for local use within their local use. We can use up to 100 kilowatts. And last one is large scale or large size machines. So these ranges from 100 kilowatts and above. These are large scale or large size machines. Okay, so these are 100 kilowatts rated capacity or above, and these are used to generate power for distribution in central power grids. So state power grids, central power grids, there will be different types of power grids which are supplying to the energy. All the stations will be connected to a grids, and these can be, these windmills can produce a distribution which will be possible to connect to the central power grid. So again, in large scale or large size machines, there will be two subclasses. First one is single generator at a single site. Okay. Second one, we can take only one single generator in one site. From that single generator, we can generate the generating capacity and we can transfer it to the central power grid. And second type is multiple generators sited at several places over an area. So these generators will also be multiple. Multiple means number of generators are taken with low capacity. Single, if you take single generators, it is of high capacity, and several low multiple generators can be taken, and all the power can be again connected to the central power grid. So this is the classification according to the main classification is horizontal axis machines and vertical axis machines. And according to the different types of sizes, output power and rotational speed, these are again classified into subtypes. So first, according to the broad, horizontal, vertical, according to the size, small, medium and large. Next classification we will see. Next classification is done according to the type of power output. Wind aero generators are classified into first one, two types. First one is DC output and second one is AC output. Okay, so we can attain both DC and AC outputs from this windmill. If you see this conclusion, we can get both DC and AC. Okay, so under DC output also there are some subclassifications like DC generator. What is the type of generator we are using? According to this, there is DC output. That means in DC, while we are getting the DC output, we can choose the type of generators we need for that application. So first type is DC generator and second type is alternator rectifier. Alternator rectifier. These two can work out with DC output. And coming to the AC outputs, what are the different types means? First one is variable frequency and second one is constant frequency. Okay, the main classification is all the variable one. So frequency, if you take variable or constant AC voltage we can take. Constant frequency you can, if you prefer, we can here also take variable or constant voltage. Okay, so if you divide these two types, we can go for 4 classifications here. These are not mentioned here. If you go for variable frequency and variable AC voltage, voltage AC, this is the first classification. And second classification, you can go variable frequency, constant AC voltage. Okay, so in variable frequency we are having 2, and in constant frequency also we can again go for 2 classifications. And next classification is depending upon the rotational speed of aero turbines. Okay, so according to the rotational speed, the speed with which the wind turbine rotates, there are 3 types. First one is constant speed with variable pitch blades. Okay, so it is attaining constant speed with variable pitch blades. This type of mechanism, it uses the synchronous generator with its constant frequency output. Okay, the first classification make use of a synchronous generator with its constant frequency output. Second one is nearly constant speed with fixed pitch blades. Okay, so this is used for induction generators. Okay, this can be used for induction generators. And next one is variable speed with fixed pitch blades. First 2 are of constant, and in that constant speed, nearly first one is constant speed, second one is nearly constant speed we can take, so almost equal. So first 2 classifications depends upon the constant speeds only, but the pitch blades of the windmill will be varying. First one is variable and second one is fixed. If you take variable, synchronous generators. If you take fixed, induction generators are used. So if you take this variable speed with fixed, pitch blades, this mode is also implied for constant frequency only. But it can be, in this we can use. So in the last module, variable speed with fixed pitch blade, we can use these 5 types. First one is field modulated system, and second one is AC DC AC link. Third one is double output induction generators. Fourth one is AC commutator generators, and fifth one is other variable speed constant frequency generator systems. So these 5 types of generating systems, actually 4 types, and remaining all we can use. What is a variable speed constant frequency generating system? We can use that 5th type. Okay, so these are the 5 types of systems that can be used with variable speed with fixed pitch blades. Okay, and next, last classification. This is the last classification. It is the classification according to the utilization of output which is made from the windmills. Okay, so according to the utilization of output, first one is battery storage. Second one is direct connection to an electromagnetic energy converter. So whatever you convert, you can use according to our applications. So if we want to use this application by storing in battery, we can use battery storage, or directly if you want to connect to electromagnetic energy converter, after that converter the given is used by us. So this is one type of utilizing this wind energy. So direct connection is made to the electromagnetic energy converter. and other forms such as thermal potential. This is also one form of storage. And last one is interconnection with conventional electric utility grids. Okay, so interconnections are done with some grids. So if you are seeking for an integrated WECS system, we are interested, actually, if an engineer is seeking to integrate WECS system, he will naturally be more interested in the later cases only. But in WECS, they can offer other options also. Okay, so but later cases are more advantages. Next, coming to the advantages and disadvantages of WECS system. Okay, first coming to the advantages. Advantages of wind energy are, first one, it is a renewable source of energy. Okay, so first main advantage is it